Okay, we're continuing our look through the 12 days of Christmas. And we're on day 4, December 28th, the Feast of the Holy Innocents. And we'll do day 8 on Sunday, and then we'll wrap up a week from tonight. There we go. What's your favorite Christmas meal?
Cornflakes.
Christmas cornflakes?
We always had turkey again.
Yeah,
You guys have turkey?
she's a
Like,
turkey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But lately you have strayed from that. Other cooks in the kitchen have cooked other things.
Yeah. Yeah,
We're into,
we had a standing rib.
yeah, we are into more standing rib, prime rib, beef,
mhm.
not doing turkey. but-
You're giving the other meat a chance.
Yeah.
Hey.
Already happening.
I think what around here, the interesting thing is the Christmas Eve emphasis on fish.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Oh, really?
not
Yeah.
eating meat on.
Right, yeah, and so like, James, did your family do the 7 fish on Christmas Eve?
No,
No, but you know families that do that, right? They'll have 7 different fish dishes.
Really?
Well, you, the Kazansky's always have, it's my favorite meal, but
Mhm.
it's, we always have pita head, which is pierogies type thing
Mhm.
with cheese and things, and then fish
Mhm.
and bread.
Mhm.
Many years
And
ago,
pickles.
I spent Christmas in France and we had pheasant.
Oh, my.
It was,
Okay.
it was really good.
Very high class.
You
No, okay, yeah. That sounds like a good Christmas meal.
know,
What is a favorite Christmas location? A favorite Christmas place?
Oh, Joanne's house is her favorite.
Around the Christmas tree.
Lots of memories there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was always fun to go to your dad and stepmoms and up in the mountains in Cloudcroft, and there'd usually be a couple feet of snow
Mhm.
and because they're up in the mountains and like their living rooms on the 2nd floor and 2 of the walls are just totally glass.
Right.
So you look out on pine trees and it was always pretty.
Mhm.
I liked that.
I'd say Rockefeller Center is a
Mhm.
place.
favorite place right now.
Oh,
Well,
well,
I'm too busy. Too crowded, really.
It's still new for us.
I mean,
right.
we love it. We always go. Lexi was just there 2 weeks ago and it was great. Allison was there last Friday.
Mhm.
And I mean, she's a New Yorker, right?
Yeah.
She's- That's the scariest time she's ever been there in her life. She
Right.
said it was like that crowd that you heard about in South Korea, where, because she lost all control of her own movement.
Right,
She could not move at all.
yeah.
with that. So the crowd moved and she could only move with the crowd. It wasn't even, she wasn't in control. She couldn't move her arms. It was the most crowded she had
Yeah,
ever
that's
been. She'd
crazy.
never been in that scary a place. She said it was really terrifying. So don't go. If it looks really crowded, just wait,
Yeah, Sundays are probably the ones where they close Fifth Avenue, probably the best.
Yes,
Mhm.
yes, because Fifth Avenue wasn't closed yet. It was still
Right.
had.
Yeah. We got in one of those like Allison, before about 3 years ago, across from Saks, where people were going both ways and you couldn't move. And we were trying to go out in the street, but there were barriers. You couldn't get out in the street. And that is a scary feeling.
It's
Mhm.
terrifying.
And there were people with little babies and strollers and, it was frightening, I thought.
And they have reflections on the wall now, started a few years ago.
Yeah, yeah.
You know,
right,
It's really cool.
yeah.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
That's what
Chris-
everybody was looking at. I mean, that's what everybody was trying to look at.
Right.
Yeah.
What were you gonna say, John?
You and Kendra hopefully will have an opportunity to go see the New York City Ballet and the Nutcracker in New York State Theater.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Be present for the growing of the Christmas tree out of the stage.
hmm. Yeah, we'd love to see that.
Yeah, we gotta do that one year.
Okay, so far in this series, we've looked at first day of Christmas, including Christmas Eve, the 24th and the 25th. So the arrival of Jesus, Word made flesh. We've looked at the second day of Christmas, Boxing Day, the Feast of Saint Stephen, and its connection to caring for the needy. So that's where we were last Wednesday. The third day of Christmas, we looked at on Sunday morning, the Feast of Saint John the Evangelist, and the focus on John chapter 1 and sort of the cosmic portrait of Christmas in John chapter 1. And so tonight we come to day 4, the Feast of the Holy Innocents, December 28th. So the earliest record of the Feast of the Holy Innocents being celebrated by the church comes from the city of Carthage in North Africa in the year 505. So this feast is quite ancient. I mean, obviously the events are older than that, but marking it as a feast day goes back quite a long ways. It's done in remembrance of the male children from Bethlehem slaughtered by Herod in Matthew 2, making it an odd and troubling day of sorrow in the midst of feasting and celebrating. So the text from Matthew 2 that it's based on. Now, after they had left, an angel of the Lord appeared to Joseph in a dream and said, "Get up, take the child and his mother and flee to Egypt, and remain there until I tell you, for Herod is about to search for the child to destroy him." Then Joseph got up, took the child and his mother by night, and went to Egypt, and remained there until the death of Herod. This was to fulfill what had been spoken by the Lord through the prophet, "Out of Egypt I've called my son." When Herod saw that he had been tricked by the Magi, he was infuriated, and he sent and killed all the children in and around Bethlehem who were 2 years old or under, according to the time that he had learned from the Magi. Then what had been spoken through the prophet Jeremiah was fulfilled. A voice was heard in Ramah, wailing and loud lamentation, Rachel weeping for her children, for she refused to be consoled because they are no more. So these are the events that day 4 commemorates. Yeah.
Do you think that has something to do with Hitler slaughtering the Jewish people? You know, to be no more.
I don't know, James. I don't know.
I always wondered that, that's all.
Mhm,
Or just, the phrase,
mhm.
you
I don't know. I don't know if there was any connection in his mind to that or not. I don't know.
or relation of,
Right. Yeah.
let your mind wander a little bit.
Mhm.
I don't know.
Yeah. But certainly a kind of genocide,
Mhm.
right? Yeah.
Mm.
So what we gain from Matthew and the historical record about Herod himself is that from the very beginning, Christ's birth was a political and social disruptor, even while living under the radar for the first few years of his life. Herod would had no comprehension of what kind of kingdom the Christ would have established, but all that mattered was that Christ's rule would not be his rule. So in a way, and we're not going to go this way tonight, but it does seem to me like the 4th day of Christmas probably provides an opportunity to reflect a little bit on Christian nationalism and the state and the power of the state. And those kinds of themes, but we're not going to go that way tonight. So this feast day traditionally is mournful, and in modern times it's been connected with the suffering and abuse of children, and so it does take on a real social component there.
I don't know enough about feast days. Do they actually feast on these days, the people that are commemorating it, or because it feels more like a fasting day,
Right.
just doesn't feel. Easter's kind of celebratory.
I didn't read anything that associated it with. I mean, some of the feast days are associated with actually eating meals, and but I didn't read anything that suggested this one was.
So the word feast is used rather
General.
broadly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. In the medieval period, the Feast of the Holy Innocents was seen as an unlucky day, perhaps because people died. So as a result, many places in medieval times observed it by not working. That should be not working. So sailors wouldn't sail on the fourth day of Christmas. Those who buried the dead wouldn't bury them on the fourth day of Christmas. And apparently some people even refrain from washing themselves on the fourth day of Christmas. So an unlucky day. You don't want to do anything that bad luck would make worse. In some places before the Reformation, there was a custom on this day called boy bishop. So a choir boy who was elected by his peers on December 6th was to preside as bishop until December 28th, fourth day of Christmas. He would wear the bishop's garments, give the sermon, and then conversely, the bishop sometimes would take on the menial duties normally done by the acolytes. And a few women were also known to practice this custom in their nunneries. So it was a day of social inversion, right? So I guess we would get, we'd get Nate to be the preacher from December 6th to December 28th, or I suppose we could do anybody. We'd get Bess or Kate to be the preacher. And I would, I don't know what I would
What
do.
would you do?
You'd have to go to school.
I'd have to go to school, yeah, that would not be good. So that's a very interesting custom there, boy bishop. I did not realize this. So the Coventry Carol, English Christmas Carol dating from the 16th century, traditionally performed in Coventry in England as part of a mystery play called The Pageant to the Shearmen and Tailors. But the play depicts the Christmas story from chapter 2 in Matthew. The carol itself refers to the massacre of the innocents, in which Herod ordered all male infants under age 2 to be killed. So we listened to Good King Wenceslas, because that carol was part of the Feast of Saint Stephen, Boxing Day, the second day of Christmas. So the Coventry Carol is one of the carols that's associated directly with the fourth day of Christmas, the Feast of the Holy Innocents.
It's
So
not on too many people's playlists.
no, it's not. So I've got it queued up here. So let's listen to at least some of it.
Please,
Rarely.
I'm following.
Yes. Cliff notes.
That's interesting.
Yeah, there are lots of minor changes. It seems maybe the original.
I was reading the long one.
Okay, so it's the song's written as a lullaby, which so it's really very interesting, touching, touching song. So in art, there's a lot of different depictions of the massacre, the slaughter of these children by Herod and those he sent to do it. It's an interesting one. In 2002, Jorge Sampaio, who's president of Portugal, commissioned Paulo Rego to create 8 pastel drawings based on episodes from the life of the Virgin Mary to be installed in the presidential palace in Lisbon. And so that's what she did. She created this cycle. So she's got a painting of the Annunciation, the Nativity, the Adoration, the Purification at the Temple, the Flight into Egypt, Lamentation, Pieta, and Assumption. And this is the piece depicting the slaughter of the innocents. So she painted all of her portraits were in this series were use somewhat modern day images, rather than first century images. But so it just as you look at this painting, what do you see? What do you notice?
Feels chaotic.
Chaotic. Yeah.
There are animals killing.
Yeah. Dogs, I guess. Yeah.
Well, I guess, I don't know. I'm not quite sure what they are.
It does.
It does. A donkey or something. Oh, it doesn't look like a dog, but maybe it is. I don't know.
This big one on the right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And the
Yeah.
mothers are crying, it looks like,
Mothers are
And-
crying.
like in horror.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's pretty gruesome.
It is the bright
Yeah.
red goes to the dark red.
It's like a nightmare.
It is like
It
a
is.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good description. Yeah.
Way back in the corner, upper right. Like there's a child hanging there with.
Pale.
Yeah.
nails.
Yeah.
Yeah. Apparently her works were controversial
Yeah.
because like she shows Mary giving birth and those kinds of things. And so you kind of get that with this painting as well.
Mhm.
But it feels like, well, let's just be real. This was a terrible part of the biblical account of the birth of Jesus.
I think it really shows the horror of it.
Yes, it does. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so let's just do some thinking about some of the themes that flow out of the Feast of the Holy Innocents. So I think one would be this Christmas being a time to reflect on the vulnerability of Christ as a child. I mean, Jesus was indeed vulnerable enough that he could have died at the hands of Herod had Mary, Joseph, and Jesus not escaped, right, to Egypt. That's how vulnerable he is. So it leads us to reflect a bit on their flight to Egypt. So this is a piece by Luc Merson, French artist, called "Rest on the Flight into Egypt." What do you notice in this picture?
So that's a Sphinx, right?
Right.
Right.
Yeah, it lacks color, doesn't have any color.
Mm,
Except that Christ.
yeah.
And Jesus and his mother safely in the arms of the Sphinx.
Mhm.
That's interesting, isn't it? Yeah.
Is that a person laying on the ground there,
That's Joseph.
It's Joseph.
like resting there?
Yeah.
He's worn out. And the donkey is looking for food, it looks like.
They're not carrying much, are they?
No.
Mhm. Oh, and the Sphinx looks like it's looking up to heaven.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah.
Maybe that's the way it always looks. I don't know. I haven't seen it in person.
That's a whole lot of nothing in front of them.
Yeah.
There.
It's like West Texas.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it does look like West Texas. Yeah. It's kind of daunting, fearful.
Yeah, it doesn't look like the surroundings are gonna give them any sustenance. There's no water,
Mhm.
Right, yeah.
you know,
Not even tumbleweeds.
no.
So the massacre, the flight into Egypt, all sort of pointing towards the vulnerability of Jesus as this young infant, and the vulnerability of the whole family as well. Here's a piece by Everett Patterson called Jose y Maria. A very different way of depicting the flight to Egypt. What do you notice?
Banners.
They're
What are the
cheap.
banners? Napkins of the banners,
The banners on the window here? Here.
It looks like it's set in maybe in the 60s, 70s, 80s. There's a payphone. Is that what that is?
Right.
Yeah.
Mhm. He's looking in the phone book.
Anyone ever recently seen one of those little riding horses
Right.
that you put a quarter in and play?
Yeah.
There used to be one in Queens, last one I ever saw. So it feels like it's really old,
Yeah.
but it's they're trying to modernize. I don't know when this painting was made. I mean, it was current.
Yeah.
At the time that.
Dave City Motel.
Right, so Dave's City Motel, no vacancy.
Mm,
See that?
mhm.
So I'm guessing Jose is on the phone, flipping through the phone book to try to find a hotel,
Mm,
right?
yeah.
Under the no vacancy, it says free HBO, new manger. I think it's supposed to say manager, but it
Yeah.
says manger.
That's a good catch, Penny. Yeah.
Can't see that, so I'm glad.
I can zoom on mine.
New
And the
manger.
artist is very clever in that he uses classical techniques to show the holiness of the people by giving them halos.
Mhm.
Right.
Right, so
You know,
behind
decals.
Maria is some kind of save decal.
And what's that above the beaver?
Star
Star
beer,
beef, is that supposed to be?
Oh, it's a star.
star beer,
But
yeah.
it is a star.
Oh, Star beer. Duh.
But it's the star.
Yeah.
It's got kind of an immigrant feel to me.
Right,
It
yeah,
does.
yeah. Yeah,
Is there something in that poster on the top left that I can't make you make out? That someone else
yeah, it
can?
says smoke Wiseman cigarettes.
Oh.
But it's spelled differently. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And does the horse say out of order?
does.
Yeah.
But maybe the little plant coming out of the crack in the sidewalk is hope.
Yep,
Mhm.
yeah, that's a good catch there. Yeah,
Says hope.
very
Yeah,
interesting.
and it's slightly highlighted.
Yeah,
The plant growing.
Right down here.
Mm-hmm.
one green thing.
Mhm.
Would have just that. Anything about the piece? Is that a newspaper laying on the floor?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably
I
for
can't
the,
read that.
it's gotta be something, but yeah.
And the bottle back behind there. Is that just a beer bottle?
I
Probably got something.
I can't read it either.
Yeah.
It's
Because
a
they
wine,
have an ATM machine.
it's a wine, it's a wine bottle.
It's a wine bottle.
Holy spirits.
But it's also a reminder that there are families on the run even today,
Right, yeah, yeah,
fleeing danger or persecution in their lands.
yeah. So I think the fourth day of Christmas could be a day to remember that as well. You know, immigrants, refugees,
Unsettled.
displaced, yeah, unsettled peoples, families.
Then somebody-
Right, yes.
Yeah.
Border.
Sandy Hook, we're getting to that right here. So Christmas is a time for caring for suffering children. So, you know, to this very day being the 20th anniversary, December 14th, 2012, 20-year-old gunman killed his mother, then walked into the elementary school armed with semi-automatic pistols and a semi-automatic rifle. Killed 26 people, 20 of them children, before killing himself. Of course, then you had all these conspiracy theories that the shooting was a hoax, amplified by Alex Jones, who then lost several defamation lawsuits, ordered to pay nearly $1.5 billion in damages.
Then you filed for bankruptcy.
Right, yeah, yeah.
Wean too soon.
And of course, then Remington was agreed to a settlement for $73 million to the victims' families. But it became an important moment once again for the conversation around and safety. So certainly the fourth day of Christmas could be a day when, you know, we remember events like this and we hope and pray to do better.
Remington shared office space where Forever Mark was.
Oh, really?
And there were like no signs for that office or anything. And I couldn't imagine what it was like to work for a company like that was so hated after that.
Yeah.
You know, how can you? Ugh.
UNICEF produces a report, I think each year, called the State of the World's Children. The State of the World's Children. So this was the 2021, from the 2021 report. So again, the day, this fourth day, could be a day when we try to, you know, educate ourselves on the state of children. Here are just some bullet points from their 2021 reports. Nearly 46,000 adolescents die from suicide each year, or more than one person every 11 minutes. Suicide is the fifth most prevalent cause of death for adolescents aged 10 to 19. The number of psychiatrists who specialize in treating children and adolescents is fewer than 0.1 per 100,000. in all but high income countries, where the figure is 5.5 per 100,000. So we don't do a great job resourcing for children. Investment in promoting and protecting mental health as distinct from caring for children facing the greatest challenges is extremely low. Children are far too often on the front lines in humanitarian crises. Of course, we might think of the children of Ukraine. 415 million in 2018, each exposed to stress and trauma. The impact of such crises can differ from child to child, with some showing resilience and others not. Multiple reports in the state of the child report of abuse of children in institutions, a proportion of whom have disabilities, including developmental or mental health disabilities. There's also extensive evidence of the continued use of shackling of children and young people with serious mental health conditions, and the use of coercion and restraint in mental health services. And a wide concern about the impact of COVID-19 on the mental health of young people. Research indicates some increases in stress and anxiety among children and adolescents. The mental health of caregivers, especially young mothers, is also a concern. According to a 2020 report, 356 million children live in extreme poverty, which is defined as existing on less than $1.90 a day. Globally, nearly 20% of children younger than 5 live in extreme poverty, that's just extraordinarily high. Christmas is a time to, become educated about what's going on with children, and perhaps becoming part of solutions to those challenges. Okay, I want to end on a happier note. Perhaps the Feast of the Holy Innocents, the 4th day of Christmas, could also be a time to focus a little more on caring for our inner child, our own inner child. Okay, so a couple of videos here.
Let's dance in style, let's dance for a while. Heaven can wait, we're only watching the skies. Hoping for the best, but expecting the worst. Are you gonna drop the bomb or not? Let us die young, but let us live forever. We don't have the power, but we never say never. Sitting in a sand pit, life is a short trip. The music's for the sad man. Can you imagine when this race is won? Turn our golden faces into the sun. Praising our leaders, we're getting in tune. The music's played by the madman. Forever young, I wanna be forever young. Do you really wanna live forever and ever and ever? Forever young, I wanna be forever young. Do you really wanna live forever and ever, forever young?
Okay, it's an ad for McDonald's,
Right.
but what's the point?
That there's always, we have still have that child in us that this can easily be disappointed.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
But it can be awoken as well.
Yeah, but he was awfully young to be so jaded already. A
I know.
little bit, ugh.
A teenager, you know.
Yeah.
Teenager's gotta be.
And the fact that that was a British commercial,
Mhm,
which was interesting.
mhm.
In
So,
2019.
Yeah, that was interesting.
If I read the date on that, right?
Mhm.
That was like copyright 2019, so that was before the pandemic, that child was poured down.
Yeah.
It's like-
Yeah. What's he like now?
Right.
Maybe it's trying to depict a child that is no longer, technically believing in Santa Claus and is kind of struggling to enjoy Christmas the way he used to enjoy
Right.
Christmas.
Yeah,
5 years earlier,
Yeah,
3 years
right.
earlier.
and that Christmas is that time when that inner child might be allowed to celebrate, to rejoice, to have fun,
Mhm,
to let loose.
To believe in magic,
mhm.
Yeah,
if you're still feeding reindeer.
correct.
Yeah.
But I think also there was something for me powerful about the mother letting her son be where he was despite her sadness in his response.
Mhm.
And at the end, he came through, but she was
Mhm.
really a patient mom.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah,
Well, she probably remembered what it was like to be a kid.
yeah. Okay, which leads us then to one of the all-time popular Christmas movies about a grown person releasing their inner child. Okay, so we're gonna watch a series of clips from Elf.
Can't wait to see my dad. We're gonna go ice skating and eat sugar plums. Santa! Santa! Nope, not Santa. Oh, beautiful. Looks like a Christmas tree. I'm here with my dad, and we never met, and he wants me to sing him a song. And I was adopted, but you didn't know I was born. So I'm here now. I found you, Daddy. And guess what? I love you. I love you. I love you.
Wow, that was weird. Who sent this Christmas gram?
What's a Christmas gram? I want one. Fruit spray? Sure.
Oh, that's.
Have you seen these toilets? They're ginormous.
Why are you smiling like that?
I just like to smile. Smiling's my favorite.
Santa's coming to town.
Santa! Oh my God! Santa here? I know him. I know him.
He'll be here to take pictures with all the children.
I'm singing. I'm in a store and I'm singing. I'm in a store and I'm singing.
Hey! There's no singing in the North Pole.
Friends are calling you. Come on, it's lovely weather.
Dad, hi! It's me. Oh, that's easier. Did you hear that? Buddy the Elf, what's your favorite color? Put that down. Marvelous how that.
We can get started here. Here you go.
We were thinking something like this.
I didn't know you had elves working here.
Boy, you're hilarious, my friend. He doesn't. On the cover above the title.
Does Santa know that you left the workshop?
You know, we're all laughing our heads off.
Did you have to borrow a reindeer to get down here?
Buddy, go back to the basement. Hey, Jackweed, I get more action in a week than you've had your entire life. I've got houses in LA, Paris, and Vail.
Oh.
Each one of them with a 70-inch plasma screen. So I suggest you wipe that stupid smile off your face before I come over there and smack it off. You feeling strong, my friend? Call me Elf one more time.
He's an angry elf. Look at you! Ow! Hey, I wasn't ready for that.
Call me Elf one more time. Call me Elf.
You're an elf.
Okay, so the movie Elf being an extended illustration of
Embracing your inner child.
embracing your child. Yeah, and eventually persuading everybody else too as well.
Yeah.
So perhaps this one other side of the Feast of the Holy Innocents, the fourth day of Christmas, might be just a part of our Christmas tradition is giving ourselves permission to be children again, to delight in the season, whatever that looks like for you. Okay, that's all I got. Any closing wise words?
Thanks, Chris.
Okay. See everybody.
Oh, Penny's with us.
Yeah.
Acknowledge that Penny's with us. Hi, Penny.
You still there, Penny?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
Did she give us an update on Ben?
No.
Yeah, he's fine. He's,
He's hanging in.
yeah.
Okay, sweet dreams, everybody.
All right. Good
Good
night.
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 Good night, everyone.
Bye.
You ended a little early tonight.
We did.
That's okay. I'm tired.